So we are going to do this today, that is removing duplicate rows or using the distinct keyword. Okay, so what do you understand by using the distinct keyword? So distinct keyword is used to display the values in a field only once. That means if there are duplicate values in a particular field, then the value will be counted only once. For example, if I have a table, now I'm going to open those tables. So I have a table here named school, as I had already showed it to you. So in this table school, you can see teachers teaching different subjects. Okay, you can see teachers teaching English, physics, maths, then again physics, then biology. So here the thing is, if I want to display the subjects, how many subjects are available in the school? If I want to display the subjects, so one way of doing that is using a query. So I'm going to write a query here, and it is going to be select subjects from school. Okay, and if I run this, so you can see the subjects over here: English, physics, maths, then again physics twice, then biology. But what about, I don't want to display physics thrice, I want to display physics only once. So in place of just before subject, I will use a distinct keyword. Okay, and I will run this query. And now you can see these are the subjects which are available in the school. So physics, although it appears more than once, it will be displayed only once. So any value which appears more than once is displayed only once with the use of the distinct keyword. Okay, please write it down in your copy. So this is your distinct keyword, right? Now, the opposite of distinct is all. That is, if I want to display, now all is the default setting. Okay, that is, if I want to display all the values whether they appear once or twice, that is including duplicates. So you can see over here I executed this query, and now you are getting physics repeated thrice. That is, as many times physics appears in the table, it is displayed that many times here. So if I don't write all, or if I write all, then both are the same, both have the same effect. But if you want to remove the duplicates, you have to use distinct keyword, right? Okay. Next, like for example, there is an example given here: select distinct job from EMP. That is, we can have different job titles in the employee table. For example, in an employee table, you can have different job titles like manager, assistant, operator, accountant. So this way you can see that 2 or 3 people could be managers, 5 people could be assistants, 10 people could be operators. So if I want to display the different job titles which are available in that company, so how are you going to do that? For example, let's take an employee table consisting of the following fields: employee number, so empeno, comma, e-name, department DEPT, designation, and salary. So these are the fields. Suppose these are the fields in the table. So how are we going to do it? Table EMP, and now I'm going to type here select distinct, and suppose I want to display, the query is like this: display all the departments in the company. Right. So how am I going to write it? Select distinct DEPT from EMP. That's all. right? So distinct is the keyword which is used, and opposite to distinct you have all keyword. Please write it also, make a note of it. Used to display all the values in a field as many times as they occur in the table. Okay, it is the opposite of distinct and default setting. Got it? So it is the default setting. So one is your distinct keyword and one is your all keyword, right? So if you have to display all the departments in the company only once, then you will use select distinct DPT from EMP. Next is order by clause. We have already seen, but few more things we will be seeing. Display employee table, just a second. Select clause is used to display the retrieved data in an arranged format. So suppose we have display employee table information according to the name in ascending order from the table EMP. So now we have display employee table information according to name in ascending order. So how are we going to do this? Can anyone write it? We will be using the order by clause for doing this. And let us consider the same employee table which we were talking about. So, just a second. Here, your query is display employee table information according to name. In ascending order of name from table EMP. Right? So table EMP is the same as we have. We will write select asterisk, because here what we need to display employee table information, that is all the field values from EMP, order by what ename, that is ascending order of ename. Now although you have the ASC keyword over here, right, please write its syntax also. Its structure is select field list or asterisk from table name. Okay, order by field name and followed by ASC, display only employee names in descending order from the table EMP. So like I said, simply it will be display ename from employee from EMP, order by ename and DESC, which determines the order of sorting the record. Okay, so here we are going to sort the records on the ascending or in the descending order, right? Students, now today I was thinking that I would also tell you how to how to install SQL on your systems, right? So maybe or no, I will make a separate video for that, right? So let's just make a separate video, and very soon, maybe today or tomorrow, I will be posting that video in the group. So please follow that video and install MySQL on your system. And also I will be at the same time, I will also tell you how to configure Python MySQL connectivity. So complete that also. So now we will move on with what we are going to do. Display the information of only clerk in ascending order according to their name from table EMP. Okay. So over here, you can see display the information of only clerk in ascending order according to their name. Ascending order according to name. So you can see select E name from EMP where job is equal to clerk. So I am also using a where clause over here to specify the criteria, and then I am using order by clause. So how is SQL going to work on this? It is first going to select only those tuples, only those records from the table EMP where job title is clerk. Now, within that particular set of records, it's going to sort all the records based on the ascending order of e-name. Like I said, ASC is not compulsory. It's already mentioned here. If it is ascending order, you don't need to specify ASC, but if it is descending order, you need to specify that, right? Next, grouping, that is aggregate functions. These functions are operative on the whole table. Hence, result of these functions are based on the whole table. We had already seen an introduction on grouping. These functions cannot be applied on a single row or record, right? So some of the functions which are given are, please make a note of these: AVG, that is average, sum, count, min, max. So these are some of the few aggregate functions which we are going to study. According to the syllabus of computer science in class 12, these five functions are sufficient. Okay. So these are the functions which we are going to use. Let's see the example. Find out maximum salary paid. Very simple. Select max sal from EMP. Find out minimum salary. That is also very easy. Select min salary. Now in both these examples, you can note one thing, that these are the aggregate functions over here is applied on the entire table. The entire table is considered as a single group, and these aggregate functions min and max, they are applied on that one single group. Find out average salary paid to all employees. That is also easy. And total salary, that is select sum of sal from EMP. Right. You cannot use any other field along with this, but even if you use any other field along with this, for example, suppose I decide where I have written select sum sal comma e-name from EMP. Suppose I have written it like this. So now group of records in the table will be showing like this particular sum function. It is applied on the single group, which is the table, right? And now e-name is what? It is a non-group field. Non-group field. That is, it has nothing to do, or it has no connection with this grouping here, because we have only one group. Now e-name, now this sum of salaries includes many employees, all the employees which are there in the EMP table. So what is going to get displayed in place of e-name? The first records e-name. The first records e-name will be displayed along with the sum of salary. So whenever a non-group field is used or is displayed along with the aggregate function, okay, the first records value will be displayed for that. So you will understand that as we see some examples, right? So now I'm typing here. I have the travel table over here, so I'm going to write it like this. Let's take the school table. These are the records within the school table, right? So let us try to apply the sum of experience. Okay, so I'm going to write here, select sum experience from school. So if I just run this, you will be seeing that the sum of experience is 66, as you can see over here, right? But now along with experience, let me also display the teacher name. So when I display the teacher name, now teacher is what this field teacher is a non-group field. So when I run this query, you will see not in aggregate function or group by clause. So you can see over here that in case of base, we are getting an error message. And in case of if I try to use my SQL, you will get the first name, first teacher's record. The name of the teacher whose record is the first record, right? So here teacher is a non-group field. Hence, along with aggregate functions, you have to be very cautious about the field name which you are using, right? Now we will try to display the sum of experience of the teachers in the school grouped by subject. Okay, so I'm going to type here subject from school grouped by subject. Let's run it. And you can see over here that firstly all the records are grouped according to the subject, and then the sum of their experience is calculated over here, right? And if I also try to type the name of the teacher along with this, again I get a message that is not in aggregate function or group by clause. That is, here teacher is a non-group field and subject is a grouping field. Please make a note of this difference, right? So I'm going to make a simple note of this difference here. So here, as you can see, teacher is a non-group field. And subject is a grouping field. Why? Because this is a field which is used to group the records based on subject, and within each group the sum of experience is calculated. Now the sum function, average function, min, max, these functions are what? They are applicable on numeric fields over here, right? So that is why we have to be very specific about these fields being numeric fields, right? Okay. Next. We have seen all these. Next. Find out total number of employees. Now this is very easy. In order to find out the total number of employees, which means we need to find out the total number of records in the table. Okay. And how can we get that? Simply using the count function over here along with any field. Now instead of this count asterisk, you can also write select count ename. You can write this also. You can write count eno also, and any other field you can write, but usually we use count asterisk, which will count the record. Okay, so we normally use count asterisk to count records, number of records. Understood? Next. Find out total number of different types of jobs from the table EMP. That is, we need to find the total number of jobs from the table EMP. So you can see here, select count distinct job from EMP. First of all, this distinct keyword will work, and it will first display, it will first create a subset, a number of, it will first create a small table consisting of only job field and all the data within the job field with duplicates removed. That is the job titles, manager, assistant, operator, and so on. and then count function will be applied on this, right? Same way, let us try to modify the question a little bit. If I have to count the number of subjects, if my query says count the number of subjects taught in school. So how to do that? Again, we go back to this, and here I am going to type count asterisk from school. Now this is what this will give me the total number of records. But what I want to count the total number of subjects in the school, right? So that means I will write count distinct subject from, right? And now let me display that, and you can see over here 4. Got it? So total number of subjects in the school is 4. If I remove this count, I'm removing count and I'm only going to display the distinct subjects. You can see 4 subjects are there. Physics appears thrice, but here it is displayed only once because distinct keyword has been used to remove the duplicates from the output, right? Next. Find out the total number of employees in each jobs from the EMP table. So total number of employees in each jobs, which will mean select job, count job from, or you can also write count asterisk from EMP group by job. I will just twist this question according to this. Count the number of teachers teaching each subject in school. So count the number of teachers teaching each subject in school. So how will I do that? I will write select subject, comma, count. Either I write here count subject, school. Either I write this. There's some issue with this. Wait. Here I'm going to use asterisk. Okay. I forgot to use the group by subject. And now you can see the number of teachers teaching each subject. English 1, physics 3 teachers are there, math 1 and biology 1. Subject, count subject. Now in place of this count subject, you can also write count asterisk. That will also give you the same result. You can also write count teacher. That will also give you the same result. Okay, whether you count teacher, whether you type teacher, asterisk, subject or any field in the table, it is going to count that entire record. Okay, so that is why, but mostly we will follow this, that is count asterisk. Okay, let me modify this question a little bit. Now the question which I am going to give you will be something like this. School, take the number of teachers teaching only those subjects where number of teachers is or teachers exceeds 1. Now read and understand this query very carefully. Display number of teachers teaching only those subjects where number of teachers exceeds 1, which means I have the result over here. So I will be displaying the number of teachers teaching those subjects where number of teachers exceeds 1, which means only physics has to be displayed and English, math and biology will not be displayed. So for this, I'll have to make some changes in this query. which means I have to also apply a condition over here. So I will start by applying a where clause where count asterisk, that is the count of the teachers, is greater than 1. This is what I wanted. Display the subject, number of teachers teaching, the number of records where that subject is from the school table, where number of teachers is greater than 1, and we have to group the records by subject. So if I just run this query, you can see there is an error message, not a condition in statement. Okay. Why? Because here where clause is there has to be a difference, right? Now here comes another type of condition clause known as the having clause. Having count greater than 1. I will explain the difference. Now you can see over here easily that we are getting only those subjects where the number of records is greater than 1. So now what is the difference between having clause and where clause? Having clause and where clause. Where clause is applied on one group only. That is where clause can be applied on one single group, which means the entire table, or applied on single record. That is individual records. Where clause is applicable on either one group or single records. Whereas having clause is applicable on single group and multiple groups. Not applicable on single records. Okay. It is having clause is not applicable on single records, whereas where clause is applicable on single records. Having clause is applicable on a single group, that is the entire table or multiple groups, and where clause is applied on one single group only, not multiple groups. So suppose instead of, now I'm going to remove this particular query and let us just try to write a simple query here. So first of all, I'll see this. Let me try to formulate one query here. School having experience greater than 10. So I have applied, instead of where clause, I have applied this condition using a having clause. So, okay, fine. I did a mistake here. So you can see here that we are getting a positive response over here. So please mark that as, I'm very sorry on this last one. So I'm going to just, it is very much applicable on single records also. So having clause is applicable on single records also, and it is applicable on single group also, multiple groups also, whereas where clause is applicable on single records and only on single groups, not multiple groups, right? As we have already seen that in the previous exam. So usually having clause is used along with the group by clause. Usually. Because normally what we do is we use the where clause when we are not grouping the records, but if we are grouping the records, we use the having clause along with that. If the condition has to be applied on more than one groups, right? It says display the names of, I'll explain this with the school table. Display the sum of experience of teachers in those subjects where sum of experience exceeds 10. That means we have to display those subjects, some subjects, and the experience of teachers in those subjects which exceeds 10. Which means that I'm going to write it like this. Select subject, comma, some experience from school. Firstly, let us break it down. Okay, so I'm only going to display the subject and sum of experience from school group by subject. So when I just type here group by subject, it will display to me all the subjects and the total sum of experience in all those subjects, right? But now I have also added a condition along with that. Now, to understand that condition, now the condition says that display only for those subjects where the sum exceeds 10. I'll just take 1 minute to wind up. So now if I use a having clause over here, having some experience greater than 10. This condition is being applied on what? On the aggregate function. Right. So the having clause will easily work. You can see that you are getting the result for physics and maths. But if suppose instead of using the having clause, I use the where clause, where some experience is greater than 10 group by subject. So here the B and N keys on my keyboard are causing problems. Here you will be able to see you get an error message. Why? Because where clause doesn't work on aggregate functions. So this is the difference between having clause and where clause. You can no doubt use having clause everywhere and not use where clause, but you have to be specific about using the where clause on aggregate function.